It is said, the world is your oyster. I will be cracking some oysters.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have some battles with Metagross in the Psychic Cup for you today. Sorry about the quality of the first set of battles. This is actually from my live stream over the weekend that I spontaneously did while I was in Portland. Ooh, a shiny Latias. And we are actually running a variation of the same team that I featured on my last Psychic Cup video. Honestly, that video, I can't believe I just randomly picked 3 Pokemon to run in the format, and I ended up picking the exact same 3, but with a different alignment. And I do think with the rise of potential fairy types in this cup, with Gardevoir getting the triple axle boost and such, definitely found that Bullet Punch worked really well here in a lot of these battles. So we end up getting the mirror match there, and I thought this was pretty crazy that they were also running Claydol and the Metagross in the backline, but they are actually running a Shadow variant. But yeah, this is pretty much going to be GG because we have shield advantage and a much more energy loaded up. So our V-Create here is just going to remove Metagross from the field entirely, and we will be able to just overheat the Latios, excuse me. This was actually kind of scary because I feel like it's hard for me to tell, but I think they probably just barely weren't going to be able to get to an outrage. And I think that's why they threw the Thunder here. It's kind of hard for me to know exactly where they were at on energy. We'll go back to this format in one battle. I just want to show you the experience from the live stream, just to give you an idea of what I was going through. Blessed Hands 23. Sounds like someone that's been on the internet since the 90s. Alright, I'm gonna stay in and just go straight for V-Create. I could have taken the Thunder Punch, but I'm gonna try to switch to Claydol. They could have Grass Knot though, to be fair. It would be pretty smart. I'm so sorry, it's not my birthday. I just forgot to update any of the notifications. Great to see you, Metal Level. Wait, what? Medicham. That's my bad. Happy birthday to you. Dude, if I go 5-0 right now, I'm gonna be like pumped. Come on. I was thinking about running Medicham here because it's just so ridiculously bulky, even though it's probably the worst pick in this cup. Like literally, like what could you really do with it? There's Gardevoir everywhere. Seems like a bad idea. I bet you I can live a Thunder Punch. I should have spawned it. Not worth it. But we have 2 shields. I mean, how are we gonna lose this?
And put it there, and I said, get it out of here!
Very nice. GG. Probably the strangest stream I've ever done on Twitch. Alright, so in this next match, we do actually get a Shadow Gardevoir lead, which is super good for Victini. So we can just stay in on this matchup and build up some energy. And I definitely want to try to build up a lot before I start throwing any. And, you know, in this scenario, I think V-Create makes a lot of sense just because I can probably get both shields and then safe swap into Metagross. And even if they bring in unfavorable matchup for Metagross, we have 2 shields, and I found that was probably going to be pretty good for us. So we do get to see the triple axle there. They switch out on Gardevoir. In comes the in comes Medicham on the Metagross, and I knew that was going to be a pup, so I just let that go through. And now I can go for Meteor Mash, which is, I mean, Medicham is very bulky, even though it is a fighter type in the Psychic Cup. So it's not a bad option by any means, just because it has that much natural bulk. But fortunately for us, we're still in a good position. We can tank a move with Claydol, and I think they try to bring in Gardevoir here, and I'm gonna just farm a little bit and then just like bring in Victini. I just miss getting off of V-Create there, and in this scenario, it really comes down to if the Gardevoir has enough energy, which we already know they're not going to have the energy. So we just have to get up to a Shadow Ball. Oh, by the way, on my Claydols, I do have Ice Beam on my Claydol in these battles. It's mainly because that's what it had prior to like any move updates that happened this season. And I realized through doing these battles that Claydol actually does get access to Scorching Sands, which I do think is the better move than Ice Beam here. To be honest, there wasn't really any situation that I faced in these matches where it made a difference. Of course, the chance of lowering attack will be the real benefit of running Scorching Sands. Plus, it does have some pretty good coverage against these poison types that are showing up here, and the steel types as well. But yeah, definitely not the best matchup here with the Slowbro, but fortunately we do get a shield. I mean, definitely this team will struggle against certain picks. I mean, if there's like more than one water gun user on the team, it can become extremely difficult. I mean, it's a very narrow victory, even with like Bruxish or some sort of like water gun Slowbro or Slowking. But I've been definitely getting a little lucky with my matchups as well. My opponents aren't really predicting that my whole line is weak to even Claydol. Technically can be a pretty big problem for this line in particular. But we managed to do pretty good at navigating around a lot of these battles that I'm showcasing here today. And yeah, I mean, the fact that even a few seasons ago, whenever I made that Psychic Cup battle video, it's kind of insane that this is the 3 Pokemon I gravitated towards. I mean, granted, I haven't built a Bruxish myself, but I don't think Bruxish would actually do better than Victini as a lead on this team. I mean, maybe it could have some pretty solid matchups. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, just kind of randomly was playing this line on my stream, and yeah, went 5-0 with it, and I'm here to showcase pretty much 10 battles in total. So yeah, we're just gonna throw the Shadow Ball. I mean, I feel like the Scorching Sands actually is pretty solid as well, because I think it's actually a little bit less energy than Shadow Ball, if I'm not mistaken. Not that it will really come into play too much throughout the match with Claydol. I mean, you're mainly running Mud Slap for that heavy damage on Victini and other steel types and poison types. So yeah, from here we can get up to the Meteor Mash, thankfully, and we can just remove the Galarian Slowking. And oh wait, they switched into Slowbro, excuse me. I actually can take a Surf to the face, so that's quite okay. I can farm it down, and then I can have that energy ready to remove the Slowking. So I've been seeing a lot of stuff like this where they're running the double Galar Slow family, which I think actually makes a lot of sense in this format. So yeah, that's our first 5-0. And here is the next set. So I woke up and I wanted to make sure, I was kind of taken aback by how well that team was doing. So this is my first set the next morning after the party. And I wanted to try to see if the team still made sense or not. And honestly, this is pretty solid. I mean, we were able to catch the Thunder Punch. And I think it was pretty obvious they were going to potentially throw a Grass Knot if they're going to stay in like this, trying to catch me off guard. And they bring in Bronzong, which I think also is super good for us because we do have the type advantage and we already have enough energy for the Shadow Ball. So I think in this situation I was thinking, well, I'll just let Claydol go and I can just bring in Victini and build up energy and then just unload a V-Create because I already had a decent amount stored. And I'm thinking we might have a pretty decent matchup with Metagross in the back. I mean, here was a little dicey, but fortunately for us, their backline is just going to get one-shot by Earthquake. So now, even though they had that little bit of energy gain on Raichu, it's not really going to matter because we don't even have to shield and we can just farm down with Quick Attack if we really needed to. GG's. Alright, we get the Rapidash lead. Typically when I do these matchups with the Galarian, the Galarian Rapidash, I like to build up a lot of energy and actually go for the overheat first because ideally, if I can call the bait correctly, I want to take a Body Slam without lowering my defenses. And in this situation, they don't have high horsepower, which is solid. They must be Mega Horn set. And we do make the good predictions, and we do get the shield. In comes the Mega Horn, which we predicted. And from here, we definitely wanted to shield again. Metagross can't really take a hit in Great League, unfortunately. But that's okay, because we're in a situation where we had enough energy to lead, and we have the shield advantage that we can actually flip this Malamar matchup. In comes the Rapidash. We know it doesn't have enough energy for Mega Horn, and they just end up removing... Oh, they just quit, because I think they thought they weren't going to be able to handle a defense drop and still be able to overcome the match. Which is true, because we still had Claydol. So in this match, we do get the Galarian Slowking, or Slowbro, excuse me, lead into a Malamar. Honestly, Malamar is super hard for this team as well to compete against. I forgot to put on my Do Not Disturb, so follow me on TikTok if you want. I think I'm just Sassifrass TV on TikTok, if I'm not mistaken. There should be a link in my description. But yeah, in comes the Slowbro again. We know we can just take a Surf, so we're gonna at least take one. Thankfully this is a Poison Psychic type, so our Steel typing is actually neutral here. And we're gonna let this Surf go through and try to save our shield for the backline. Yeah, we're gonna switch here into Victini, and yeah, we're gonna just shield because I think I can get to the V-Create right away. If there's one thing I've learned playing through the Psych Cup, it's kind of hard to get ahead energy without just... You have to be very precise about how you build your extra energy in this cup, or you'll get punished really hard. So GG's, we got another win there. And let's see what we get here in this next match. Another Shadow Gardevoir lead, which, as you already saw before, was pretty solid for us. In comes Claydol, which actually is a problem for this team if we don't deal with it properly. Thankfully, they just kind of take the first V-Create to the face, and we're going to switch out now. Knowing that we have really nothing to worry about against a Gardevoir with our team, I can safely match up our Claydol against theirs. I build like one extra Mud Slap and go for the Ice Beam. And they decide not to shield at all, which I was kind of thankful for, honestly. I mean, I wasn't too afraid of Gardevoir, and they end up getting a little greedy with the farm down here, and I can actually just get I can actually get one of their shields for once. So I'm gonna bring in Metagross, and they actually insta swap out into their Victini. And this was kind of tough, but I'm just gonna bring in my own Victini, and I decided to just shield, which was a little risky, I will admit, but fortunately for us, we are able to get our V-Create off first, and they decided to shield as well. And this will actually be pretty game-changing. I was actually kind of nervous that maybe they were close to the Shadow Ball on Gardevoir. But fortunately for us, we were able to farm down with Bullet Punch, and that is a GG. And I think this is actually the final battle of the video. Definitely consider liking the video if you enjoyed this. It does help my content reach a wider audience here on YouTube. And yeah, we're gonna start off against a Galarian Rapidash, and I'm gonna build up the energy like I said. And I've been playing it that I go for the overheat first, that way even if they do throw high horsepower here and I die, at least I got one shield. I mean, maybe it's kind of a bad situation, but not the worst. But thankfully for us, a lot of these Rapidash like to throw Body Slam as bait, and we can play around that to our advantage. So in this scenario, I don't want to get hit by high horsepower or a Mega Horn. Unfortunately, we have enough energy that we can outpace the Victini, land Earthquake without the shield, and that puts us in such a good position. Because even Claydol versus Claydol, a Claydol can't one-shot another Claydol. So even though, in some other scenarios, the Pokemon having this much of an energy lead could be very oppressive. But fortunately for us, we can kind of like, even in this scenario, they don't know we have Claydol, we bait out the move, and now we can safely bring in our Claydol, get that little bit of farm, and from here, it's just a matter of finishing up the Rapidash with a Mud Slap. So there you go, GG's, and another 5-0, just to show you that Metagross definitely can be played here in the Psychic Cup if that's your cup of tea. But yeah, definitely consider subscribing and liking the video. It does help my content reach a wider audience here on YouTube. And let me know in the comments below if you liked watching me use Metagross here in the Psychic Cup. And with that being said, the Sass Squad is getting strong each and every day. You have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you're tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next one.